Hello and welcome to Have At Us, reviews for your pleasure. We share honest thoughts, opinions, feelings, often hot takes. And I'm Nietzsche.
I'm Joshua.
And this is episode 4 of the RWBY Report. And we are talking about RWBY Ice Queendom, episode 6. We're going to be spoiling this and the rest of the episodes probably. We're going to try and keep a lot of the spoilers out of the normal RWBY property. But we'll see how successful that goes. But this is your warning. And as always, we encourage you to have at us. Our social media links are in the description. I expect that you have great opinions about this episode. Because you were kind of hating last episode.
I did not like last episode. This is a much better episode.
I don't think that's true, but let's hear why it's a much better episode.
The pacing was better. It was more interesting. We brought in old characters and started putting them to use. I like that. The best character made an appearance.
Remind everybody else who the best character is.
Penny.
And why is Penny the best character?
She's the most funny.
I don't really feel like she's that funny in Ice Queendom.
Okay, well, as far as we got so far, she's the best. She's a little silly, but I like it. I like her design. So she's the best so far. And she's back. She helps out a little bit.
It's a little weird that she's back, honestly, because I'm a little unsure of the timeline here. And if we go by what happened in, like, the actual RWBY show, because we followed the events with her pretty faithfully. We didn't put all the scenes there, but the events followed pretty safely. She should just be gone for a while.
She's on vacation.
Really sure why she's back here? If she's on vacation, whatever. Maybe she's still here for the tournament. I don't know. I thought it was a little weird that she was back. I figured she was going to be back because I see the key art for the end of the episode before I see the episode because they post on Twitter. And so I was like, oh, Penny will be back. All right.
We also got another cool guy back, Mr. Sun.
Sun Wukong, I think is his actual name.
I believe that. I like how he uses his tail. Very smart.
He uses his tail for a lot of things.
I mean, that's just putting good things to use. I mean, you got a tail, might as well use it smartly.
I guess I don't really care. Didn't really bother me. I don't like his voice actor. Like, I don't think it fits very well.
Oh, really? I thought it was fine.
It fits, like, him being very serious, but he's not, like, a super serious guy in normal show. He's a pretty, free-spirited, whimsical kind of guy.
Well, if his name's Sun Wukong, then yeah, I would expect that. That's a pretty common trope for that archetype.
Well, I think they're all probably based on the same, Monkey King legend thing.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, he's back for a little bit.
Yeah.
Doing his thing. Their scene was fine.
I just like that they were there. They seem to be this outside force that's an encouragement. They're helping out a little bit. I just thought that was nice. And it needed it because I think the core cast of the characters, I wouldn't say they were getting boring, but I wanted to see a little bit more of the world, to be honest. The fact that we left the dream, I was like, oh my god, are we just going to leave it and then jump immediately back in? I thought that would be bad. But we took some time. We explored outside of that a little bit. I was like, oh, okay. I can accept that. Doing a little bit of talking, some developing. I think that's good. I think that helped with the pacing a lot. We got Juniper coming in. I'm not really sure how or really it's just John.
Well, John didn't make it into the dream world at the end. I'm telling you. He's not there in the last shot. He failed.
He's probably just at some other place because of some reason.
Because he's a failure at all times.
That's probably it. I feel like John is a character I want to see developed into like a good character, but they're going to drag that out for about 20 seasons, and then in the last season he'll finally be cool, and I'll be like, alright, well, that took way too long.
Even in RWBY normal, where we're in volume 9, right? It's where we're headed to. I still think Jean is kind of insufferable most of the time. He's kind of just whiny and useless.
Yeah, I don't know. I could see how that could be the case. But we've yet to see how he's gonna shape up in these episodes to come. So hopefully he doesn't disappoint.
I think he's gonna be a disappointment, like always.
Well, we'll see. He's gonna be my favorite character. I'm calling it.
I don't think that's true. I think Penny will firmly hold the top.
Okay.
That's what I think. Because I don't think she's going to be around for much more of anything. But maybe she will.
She's gonna save the day.
I don't know how she would do that, but that's fine. I don't really care.
Now, I got 2 impressions from this episode.
Oh, okay, let's hear it.
I felt like I was watching, like, Inception mixed with Tales of Arise, the game. That's what I got from this episode.
Explain to me the Tales of Arise part here.
The main girl in that.
Shion.
Yep.
Isn't it?
Yep. Shion.
Not Shion, who is Dreamweaver person.
No. Shion, as in female protagonist of Tales of Arise video game, has this thorn part in the game without spoiling too much.
Oh, yeah, okay, I remember this now.
And so it's like very aesthetically similar. And then all the Inception stuff, I'm like, all right, I feel like that's what I'm getting. Tales of Arise and Inception.
Okay. I don't know. I wouldn't want to, besmirch RWBY Ice Queendom with such a crap comparison of Inception. Like, it deals with dreams, but, at least our dreams are in a fantastical sense, and it makes sense. Unlike the complete and utter nonsense of Inception. Anyway, the music of this really set the video game tone for the whole episode, basically. It was very video game music status. And I was like, okay, I don't hate this. It's fine. But I'm not sure why you kind of had this weird shift musically for that. But it works.
They definitely played Tales of Arise recently. And they were like, oh, here we go. Got some ideas.
I guess it was just kind of like standard JRPG music. Which works. It's fine.
This was a smartly paced episode. And that, like, the first half is kind of focused on being in the dream. I kind of like how quickly we're going through that. And I especially like the scene where Yang and RWBY are talking. And RWBY's being a little doubtful about herself. And Yang's like, no, but we don't got time to sit here. We gotta go. And I was like, oh, we got some semblance of an idea of time management. That's a good quality. I like that.
All right, you keep going on about this pacing thing. And so I gotta correct that I think that the first little bit is fine, pace-wise. But then I think that little last bit in the dream is paced a little choppy. And not quite as good as it could have been. I think it needed just a little bit more in some spots. And I think I would agree that the pacing was spot on and great. I was not you. I didn't think we were going back into the dream world. We left half episode and I was like, we won't go back in. We got to prepare and do some things. And
I didn't really know if I thought one way or the other. I was more scared that we were just going to jump back in, and I thought that would be really stupid.
That would have been a bad idea. That's not what they did. You need to let a little breather room, go back in, kind of finish things out.
It did leave me with a question, though.
Okay, let's hear it.
Shion, their ability to recharge. I guess everybody would have to recharge, right? How long does this take? How long were they out at the cafeteria? Was this like an hour?
Well, they, went to the cafeteria and got their food. So if we presume they do that first, we'll say that takes, 20 minutes. They go, they get their food, they eat their food. And then they leave for an hour. They're slightly late, it sounds like. So we're like, let's say we're an hour 45 by the time they get back up to that room.
So give or take a little under 2 hours. Shion's like, yo, you messed this up again. I'm going to have to recharge. We don't got time for that.
Weiss will die.
Weiss is going to die. I'm just a little curious on does their actions in the dream world, like, have a real world time correspondence that's equal? I'm not really sure.
I don't know how much time is passing or not in the dream world. But Shion's aura is drained, I assume, by maintaining the dream, right? The coins are also explicitly stated as a part of Shion's aura. Shion creates them, so I don't know if those are taken out of the aura equation when they're made or when they're used. I don't know.
Yeah, the details are still not really there that make a lot of sense of all this.
I don't think you're going to get them. It's clear enough for me, at least.
If this was a novel, I think you could have something. Like a light novel. Does RWBY have light novels?
No, we don't technically have light novels. You have young adult novels, but it's not exactly the same thing.
Have you read those?
I have all three. I have read all three. You could read them if you want. They're not going to be much help for you,
I don't imagine.
Most of them are not about characters you even know about.
Perfect.
Sun's in them, though.
Oh, good.
And his team.
I like Sun.
Mm-hmm.
I like how ripped he is.
He has some ridiculous abs in the show. Like, they're just drawn in a kind of ridiculous, like, Vaughn status over there.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
A little bit. But that's okay. He's just some bad, faunus, stowaway kid. He does some things later in RWBY that are alright. At this point, he is basically just like, I talk to Blake sometimes. I'm a cool guy. And I'm like, at least you're accurate. It's what you are. You're kind of her friend. Not really, but kind of. He's trying. He likes her a lot.
I see what he's aiming for.
Yeah, I don't think he gets there, but...
Nope. He's gonna die.
Okay.
Now, if I had one complaint, we used a little bit too much 3D CG in the fighting. It wasn't bad looking, but it was definitely there.
The fighting was not well done. Really at all. If you would have taken just a little bit more time and fleshed a little bit of it out, this is where I'm saying the pacing was a problem. Your fight scenes were paced not appropriately. The other big problem I have with the fights is Blake uses the coins to make decoys all the time, it feels like. And I'm like, why even introduce the semblance in the last episode if you're not gonna use the semblance that is basically create decoys? Okay? I don't understand whose oversight that was, but it's stupid.
I was wondering that myself after our last conversation. I wasn't really sure if I had understood, or if this was the actual semblance ability, or if this was actually just coin clones. I was a little like, I'm not sure now.
They were all coin clones.
Yeah.
Because her clones spawn where she's at.
And do they look better than just a stupid
They look
thing?
exactly like her.
Okay, that would be better. Because I'm thinking, are the cats stupid enough to really fall for these stupid-looking clones?
The Grimm?
Whatever. They're cat-looking. They're like lions, right?
I thought they were the bear-looking ones.
Maybe? I don't know. I had a lion on my head. Maybe that was Sun. I was thinking of his golden mane.
Uh-huh. I'm pretty sure they were Ursas, and they were bears. I could be wrong. I don't visually recall what they looked like, but I thought they were Ursas, and not Manticores.
Well, probably. Do you know how little I paid attention to their design, really? I just saw them, and I'm like, alright, they're just a thing.
The Grimm are just built on destruction, but technically Weiss has control of them. Like, if she had summoned them in the real world, she has control over them when she summons them out of her stuff, out of her glyphs. But I don't know if that rule applies here. She's never summoned multiple at one time. But she is super cool in Dream World Weiss, so...
That's negative Weiss.
Dream Weiss, yes. Uh-huh. Anyway, it bothered me a lot. But I just feel like we copped out of, like, actually animating some, like, decent fight scenes. If you'd added, like, another minute, taken a little bit of the fluff out of, like, you know, being in the real world, where we just reaffirm things, take some of those out, you add in, like, another minute to the fight scenes in general, you would have been golden. But you didn't do it.
No, we did not.
Now, I still thought this was a good episode. I don't hate it. That's really my large complaint. I don't...
They should hire you as their fight choreographer.
Well, I'm probably not good at fight choreography, at least on the design front. But I just don't know why we showed nothing of either fight, really. Like, you got Blake and Weiss, and you don't really show anything of that, and then you cut to RWBY, and they just, like, take Klein out. And then there's, like, a pile of dead robots, and you're like, that could have been cool. You didn't show me any of it. I do like that RWBY is like, oh, other way, and she flips it around.
Just gotta remind herself.
I just appreciate that we're sticking to it. It's a funny deal to me, and we better have a whole conversation with Weiss after the fact of, like, look.
So you know how this thing works, right? No?
You just gotta be like, Weiss, look, we need to have a serious talk, okay? Look, you gotta sit down. This is my weapon, Crescent Rose. It's really cool. The barrel for the gun goes this way. This way. I'm telling you, it better be a whole conversation. Otherwise, I'm gonna be a little disappointed.
That's gonna be a conversation as the episode fades to black.
That's fine. As long as it happens. I don't really care where you put it as long as it feels like it fits.
Alright.
But we're probably at least 2 or 3 episodes away from being a conversation.
We still got 6 episodes to go.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to be in the dream world for all 6 episodes?
No, we're in the dream world for probably 2, I think.
2 more.
Yeah, I think we're in the dream world for 2 more. We gotta get there, get all the way back. I feel like maybe we gotta find Jean, because he's a bumbling moron. I'm interested what Jean really looks like. Like, does he look the same as his captured self?
He looks like a Herculean god.
He does not look like a Herculean god. Anyway.
2 more episodes.
That's what I think. I think we'll be there 2 more episodes. We will hopefully have an extended, actual fight scene that looks good.
I'd hope so. They're building up to it.
It's gotta look good. I feel like this is the episode where the fight animations were they weren't on point.
Okay. I don't think you're wrong.
Do you have any other things you need to talk about with the greatness of RWBY?
Nay.
You got any predictions you need to throw out here?
Yeah, I got a great prediction.
Okay.
So they're on that snake infinity symbol thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like an Ouroboros.
Mm-hmm.
That snake's gonna come alive and eat all of them. That's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be great. That's my prediction.
I just assumed that was a call out to the snake statue that's in Weiss's house in the normal RWBY property, and the fact that that is a Grimm. It's not exactly the same, but I assumed that's what that was.
I just feel like the infinity symbol is just a kind of classic symbol anime likes to throw in to make it look cooler.
I feel like it was like you'll just be lost and in a loop unless you have the key.
Yeah, but it did have like a part of it kind of like cut, so I kind of thought maybe they're going like a chance to escape kind of motif. But I don't really know. We didn't really examine it too much. It was just there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what? Yang used a cell phone in this episode inside the dream. So we can't use the cell phone to call out. We gotta use the toll phone.
She called Blake on her scroll. That's what that's called. It's not a cell phone, it's a scroll.
It's a cell phone.
It's a cell phone. But she called Blake on her scroll to Blake's scroll. I agree if you want to say it's not overly consistent, but it is under, rules that you can make up for the dream, seemingly consistent. I'm not going to claim one way or the other. I don't have answers one way or the other, but it's within the dream.
Well, it's just an example of why I think you need to start defining the rules a little bit more in this realm, because there's a little bit of things here and there that are a little inconsistent, and I think you can give me rules as to why it works, but you haven't, so I don't know what they are, and I'm starting to think, wouldn't it be more convenient to save your coins if you just be like, oh, Shion, can I get your cell phone number? That's going to be really convenient.
Yeah, but you'd be calling outside the dream, right?
Does it matter?
That's what I'm saying. I think that the consistency is on that this cell phone isn't their real life cell phone. It's the cell phone they're given in the dream, so it works in the dream.
Oh, okay.
To call Blake in dream.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
That's what works to me. I didn't think anything of it, and that's why you have to call out to Shion.
That would make sense. Shion's abilities go with the coins, there's that direct line. I'm not saying that there isn't any rules, I'm just saying if you don't define the rules and then you make things that look pretty similar, it's not great.
I mean, it could use some definition, right? But I don't think you're going to get a lot of defining things on how the rules work.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But I don't think that everybody understands how all the rules work either, like in show.
Shion can't give him a rundown?
Shion might not have an understanding of how all the rules work.
I guess.
Shion mysteriously appears, conveniently is useful for this, and will probably conveniently disappear.
Shion kind of reminds me of Mistagun.
I don't know what Mistagun even is.
But somebody does, and that's good enough for me.
Uh-huh. You're banking on, I feel like a small percentage here.
Somebody will understand.
Shion looks more to me like, what's her name from Berseria? Magalu. I wasn't getting it. I had Megumin in my head, and I was like, that is not the same character in the slightest. I've never even seen that show. I just know the character name, and it had infiltrated in Magalu. Very similar looking to me.
Shion wishes they were as cool as Magalu.
Probably. Magulu is basically the best thing about Berseria.
Yeah, that's a great character.
Regardless, this is about Ice Queendom episode 6. You got any other inconsistencies you need to bring out, or?
This is actually Tales of Ice Queendom.
Anyway, back on to Ice Queendom episode 6. You got nothing else?
Nope.
Well, that ends our discussion. That's it for our opinions. Hot takes. I don't know that we had any this episode. Maybe. I'm not keeping up with the RWBY community, so. Anyway, we would love to hear your opinions, thoughts, feelings. If you got some hot takes, I definitely want to hear those. So you like, you comment, you subscribe, share this, anything you want. The social media links are right there in the description. Find whichever one works for you.
And of course, there's one more thing you can do, and it's called Be a Good Samaritan. You need to find somebody a little down on their luck, feeling a little bit sad, and you need to help them out. Cheer them up. And there's one foolproof solution to that. Our show. Hopefully you find an episode where we're a little bit more positive. Violet Evergarden, that's a good choice.
The depressing show that we liked, yeah. That's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You choose that one, and that'll help them out. And you'll be doing yourself a favor. You'll be doing them a favor. You'll be doing us a favor. That's 3 wins.
Feels good to help people. You can be like a, anime, video game, whatever character you want to be. Helping random people out in their time of need.
Maybe you can be the next anime protagonist.
Until that time, though, I'm giving this a 7 out of 10.
I'm going to give this episode an 8 out of 10. Have at us.